How are you, lads? What is the crack? If you're looking at the thumbnail and the title, your eyes do not deceive you. The man, the myth, the legend, Culzy is back for one night only in this video. I had an absolutely fantastic time filming this video with Culzy, an amazing catch up. We went through the whole sort of origin and even before the origin of Guinness Guru, and kind of, does Culzy feel any sort of resentment now, a few years later after he stepped back? If you're watching the video, you don't even know who Culzy is, this will be a great insight into how this whole channel was formed, and you can see by my enthusiasm how much I can't wait for you lads to see it, because I just, even though it's just literally two of us just sitting here having a drink, I just really enjoyed it, and I think you might just enjoy it too. Big shout out to the sponsor of the video, the lads over at Manscaped, for supporting me and the channel over the last 3-4 years. I always say it, but the channel would not still be going without the support from Manscaped. New product alert, lads: the Lawnmower 4.0 Pro and the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus with the updated skin safe technology. If you're new to Manscaped, I would highly recommend the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. You've got the lawnmower, the best razor in the game according to me. It's waterproof, skin safe technology, LED light. You get the weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer for the awkward areas. You got the fantastic aftercare products like the crop soother and crop preserver. Lash that all over your freshly shaven belly and everywhere else, and you just won't chafe nearly as much. Comes in a really handy travel bag, and they even throw in a pair of Manscaped jocks, aka boxers, because why not? If any of that piques your interest, go to manscaped.com, use my code PINTS20 for 20% off plus free delivery. Thank you, Manscaped, for your constant support. Now sit back, lads, and I mean sit back, relax, because this is a long one, but I think it's worth it. All good. Right, lads, who's this fella, huh? Suppose for the people who are always, there's always those couple of lads commenting, where's Culzy, bring back Culzy, we want Culzy. We got him, he's here.
Give them what they want.
He's ready to tell his story. We're gonna have the Canada Zero stuff. That wasn't even invented the last time we probably did a video.
That's true.
Because we're both driving home on our Guru Life coaster. First ever bit of, hopefully you can see that, first ever bit of merch.
I still have one at home. I use it all the time. Yeah.
Was it literally just then?
I think so. Yeah, there was something else as well, wasn't there? The sleeve. With the sleeve for the pint glass sleeve.
Remember all the back and forth.
Cooler or whatever.
You were online on these mad like Asian websites of, oh Jesus Christ, what would that have been? That probably was 2020?
Yeah, about
We
that.
started in like 19.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, we'll have a pour. I actually haven't had a can of this. Have you ever had this in a can?
I've never had this in a can. No. And is there something?
You're just going Dunkville, Tennessee. And yes, people will say all the harping on you do about the new style glass, that's all we had in the gaff. Nice bubbly one. Yeah, when these came out in like 2020, I tried them and said I wasn't a massive fan. And I'm glad I said that, because they were all, do you remember that they were all recalled?
Oh yeah, that's right.
From all the shops or something, so I was right to have said it. I get out my notes, even though I don't think we need notes, but so basically, for anyone obviously watching who is a fan of the channel since day one, you're going, holy shit, there's Culzy, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who we started Guinness Guru together in 2019, and then for the newer followers saying, who's your man? That's who Culzy is. So Culzy is actually without Culzy, none of us would be here, because as the story goes, well, will we just tell the story?
Yeah.
You give it, not if, but we can go back and forth, but let's say from your point of view, I remember getting a text from you. I was painting, and it was a Saturday, I believe, and I got a text from you. I wouldn't say we definitely knew each other.
Yeah. Probably
more through the GA club, through my brother. I got a text from you. Do you remember what you said?
No idea. No,
cheers, that sounds good.
Cheers.
I can't really remember, to be honest.
Anyway, I could go back. I go back to the original, the way back to the very start, if you wanted a story, or is that too long?
No, go.
All right. So
I think I know the story.
You probably know most. There's actually some elements that you don't know. There's definitely one element you don't know.
Here we go, inside scoop. Yeah.
And actually, no one knows this. Actually, even the person I'm going to talk about. But
Internet is going to break.
for anyone watching, whenever there'd be a few videos where Dara would refer to cameraman Dave or housemate Dave, he was for a while.
Yeah.
So he has something to do with it, right? Because I was never really on Instagram, as you know, at the start. And I heard with Dave, and he was saying that you're doing some stuff on Instagram, and he was chatting to someone else about the stuff you were doing. And I'd be interested in content in general and stuff like that. So I said, right, I'll go on and follow Dara.
Right.
So I went on and followed you, and you were doing. I remember the one you were doing. It was something about like a petrol station when I think you're trying to stop it on like €50, and then it goes over to 51, and that was the sort of sketch you were doing.
Pure comedy genius.
So park that, right? So that's that, right?
That's that.
Now I was at a barbecue with a friend of mine, Alan Fitzgerald, disco we call him, around Ashburn. And he had a T-shirt on, right? There was a pizza slice, you know this bit. And it was like, one bite, everybody knows the rules. And I chatted with him, and he's like, Culzy, did you ever hear of Barstool Sports? And I was like, yeah, I heard of Barstool Sports because I've followed a bit of American sports. And he said, do you know the CEO of that, Dave Portnoy, and he does these pizza reviews? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, well, he does these, he's this Jewish guy, he goes around and does pizza reviews, pizza around New York. And he's funny, and I was like, I bought the T-shirt, and I was like, that's the weirdest thing ever.
Who would watch that?
Who would watch that? Like that's ridiculous. Like, anyway, subsequently, open mind. I was like, right, I go on YouTube, so I checked it out, and he was funny, as you know, and he became someone that kind of we aspired to. Okay, so, and then I was like, right, someone should do this in Ireland. I was like, but pizza, like, it's not really a thing in Ireland. It's not compared to like New York. So he had done, Disco himself had done this thing. He used to live in New York, and he had done this thing where he ate in the 50 best steakhouses in New York, some list or whatever. Right. And he put it up on Facebook, and he had said, oh, whatever, such and such steakhouse. And he was moving back to Ireland, and he needed to get the last couple of steakhouses or whatever. So he had done a bit of that, and I was like, Disco, like, let's do this. Let's do it with maybe burgers. Because he's into food, he's a bit of a foodie and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, I'm just after having a kid or whatever, moving house and all this. And so he was like, no, I can't do it. And I was like, right, what else could we do? And I was thinking, right, well, what do Irish people obsess over, Irish men obsess over?
Yeah.
I was like, they love Guinness. Like, so, and then there's the whole thing about if Guinness is good in a pub, and like, I wouldn't have been, I'm still a big Guinness drinker, but there's a lot of people that I would be friends of, that drink Guinness, and they'd all be obsessed with, oh yeah, good pint of Guinness or whatever, that's good, good porter and all this. So I was like, right, maybe that's something. And we would know Rory O'Connor, Rory Stories, he'd be a good friend of his, and I was like, Rory, I think this is something you should do. I think you should go around rating pints of Guinness in pubs and do like a separate YouTube channel or whatever. And I was chatting to him about it, he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I was chatting to his agent and stuff like that, and they discussed, and they were like, look, there's a lot going on. I think he was writing his second book at the time. I think he's on book 4 or 5 now at the moment. So
this is kind of summer 2019, just for reference.
Exactly, right? So that was like, all right, so maybe that's done. But then subsequently, I'd been following you on Instagram, and you know this part, and you had been doing a few bits on YouTube and stuff like this, and you were doing an Instagram story, I believe it was, where you were talking to the camera, and you were saying, oh look, I'm doing bits and pieces, I'm doing this, buckle up, I'm doing that, I don't know, will I continue it, I don't know what I'll do, that sort of thing.
It's great crack to film, but by Jesus, there's so amount of time and effort to go into it, and by that I mean it definitely, you couldn't be doing like one of them a week. I was like, just again, I'm going to keep putting in, because you're telling the story amazingly, and I'll just keep giving little bits of context. So for context, that was like my old kind of personal Instagram page, and I was doing a YouTube series under kind of or Big Deezy Man.
That's for Big Deezy Man, yeah.
And it was just like a total rip off of Carpool Karaoke from James Corden, because I did it one time for like a charity thing I was running, did kind of well on Facebook, so I tried to do it with people around Dublin, kind of singers and stuff. And I basically then was on Instagram preaching to my probably 150 followers, saying, I know you're going to be devastated, but I'm not going to do those videos anymore, and then blah, 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 blah. And yeah, and then it was you probably reached out.
That's it, I text your brother and I said, can I have Dara's number? and he just sent it on to me. I don't think he knew why, and I'll be honest, I have no idea what the text said. I probably just said, do you want to have a chat about something?
Yeah, no, I think, and my missus Kat will laugh at this, because I do remember you kind of said, because I'm very much like, if someone, I can't have anything like, what way am I trying to say it?
Like unclear.
Unclear, yeah. So you kind of said, how are you, Dara? Do you want to meet for a coffee or something I want to talk to you about? And I'd just be like, what is it? Like,
Right.
I can't wait a week to talk to you. Like, what? I need to know what it is. I'm a weirdo like that.
Yeah.
So you then sent probably a voice note or something, or maybe you sent a Dave Portnoy pizza review, and I think this is a very specific thing to remember, but I hadn't, like, I love Barstool Sports now, I'll be probably a lifelong fan, love Dave Portnoy, blah, blah, blah. And I had never heard of Barstool Sports. When I look back, I can't believe I hadn't heard of it, because it'd been going since like 2003 or something. This is 2019, like they were huge at that stage. And it was right up my alley. But I think the video you sent me was uploaded by like a random page. So it was like 20 subscribers. And I just saw this guy eating pizza. I was like, yeah, what the fuck is this? Like, and then I was like, and like that, I was painting. So I was just like, kind of half watching it. And then I probably watched a couple others, and then I saw this bar, it's actually a big thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I think we just said, or actually, I think we kind of just said, I was very much like, sure, listen, let's just do a pilot kind of thing. Instead of like meeting and having all this discussion, let's do a pilot, let's see how good or bad it is.
Yeah, try it.
And then we went up to
the Fox Inn.
Shout out Ray.
Which is actually only about 100 yards from Disco's house, strangely enough.
Wow, that's gas. Yeah, so the Fox Inn outside of Ashburn, kind of known for a good pint of Guinness, still is. Yeah. Lovely little pub. And basically went up there. I think you stayed out, or did you go in and order it?
I think I went in and ordered. I don't think we said anything to the bar, as far as I know.
I feel like I can't.
Maybe you know Ray, so maybe you did. I don't know.
I did know Ray, but I feel like, I think you used to, I was such a bitch that, like, such a little fucking wimp, that I think I used to ask you to go in the odd time when we were in town or something.
I remember at the start I used to go in because you were kind of maybe concentrating on what you're going to do with the different things, you know.
Wimp. Yeah. But I think I went in and you were outside with the camera, and you had a nifty camera. You probably still have it, like, and I was like, this lad's some man. But again, we didn't know each other, so it wasn't just like, all right, random guy. And we did it, and I think I have it on the YouTube in private or something, because I uploaded the video during COVID, like looking, because I was so bored. I didn't know what to do, so like looking back on it, and it was just literally like, all right, Culzy, I was just trying to mimic Dave Portnoy, like word for word. So I was like, for the first probably 5 videos, I'd be like, don't judge off the first sip.
We don't judge off the first gulp, you know the crack.
I know,
like one bite, every nozzle.
We had these couple of things like, don't judge off the first sip, like check the temperature. The shtick was one that.
That's what I have to say. Shtick. I'd say shtick and domage were the biggest things to ever come out of it. Like, there's people saying shtick and domage that never even heard of me. Yeah. And shtick was from day one.
Yeah.
Day dot.
I'll take that one.
And I like to think I've given you credit for it.
You have, in fairness, yeah.
Like, from the day that you were like, the shtick, like the lacing, I think is a technical term.
Yeah.
But that still hasn't gone away and never will, so
true.
That's unbelievable.
Domage, I think, is taken over now, though. You hear that?
Probably 50-50. Yeah. It's just all those like lads just taking the total piss out of it. But
we had other ones that like fell away, like that never judge off the first sip, like that was kind of that. We stopped using that pretty quickly, and
straight away I think. And then I also think I used to give the score after like 2 or 3 sips.
That's right.
Literally pouring a couple of bites. Whereas now I'd have the whole pint. Or pretty much the whole pint.
Around it,
Just have notes so we don't kind of go off of so we don't leave that out. And then so us two serious business brains, you know what I mean? From the get-go. This is like so funny, but we were dead right. And I still think this is why we're so like mutually sound now, and there's never been any issues, we were like, let's get a contract up. And just so happened that Culzy has a law degree.
Well, a qualified solicitor in previous life,
yeah. So I was like, grand. And like, even though I say we weren't like, we didn't know each other super well, I still knew you were a completely bang on sound lad, and like, so you made this kind of pretty short contract. It's probably like 10 lines.
But it was still the right thing to do. Like,
it was,
you know, because no matter how sound lads are, how well you know someone, like, you know, you could foresee that, you know, some lads would have an argument or whatever, and I've seen it before in other YouTube groups or whatever.
An easy way to avoid it.
100%. Because just get it on
whether,
paper. And
like, if it had gone like and exploded and there was loads of money in it, we just wanted to know. It was literally written on the paper. Dara gets this. Colin gets this. If this happens, this happens. Blah 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 blah. And it was the right thing to do, and it just like that avoided any bullshit. Then we had to come up with a name.
Yeah.
Do you remember much? What
I do. So
the fucking YouTube sign-in is still point reviews.
So my idea was that, and maybe we'll probably get to that in a while, that like point reviews would be kind of one branch of it.
Yeah.
And we could do chicken fillet reviews, breakfast roll reviews.
Yeah.
I don't know, any sorts
like
of thing, restaurant reviews. Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
Barstool sports mindset of like start with one thing and then grow it into others, and we'll get into that stuff as we go.
And you were looking at names, and I think there was like Guinness Advisor and stuff like this, and you had come up with Guinness Guru, and I was actually against going with Guinness Guru for that. I thought it was a bit like pigeoned into Guinness a little bit.
Fair. That's it's a good point.
Yeah, but actually, I think it ended up being a really good decision to grow the channel to a certain extent. Now we'll probably talk about it. I think you're right to move away from it, but I think it was actually a really good thing. And but that was a good thing. Like we discussed and we were open about it. And I was like, look, let's go with it. Let's try it for a little bit. And I think it was good because you became known as the Guinness Guru.
Yeah, it was good to grow it, and then. Now I'm probably going, geez, I have fairly pigeonholed myself, but I don't think it would have gotten
there without it. 100%.
If it was called Point Reviews, because the Guinness Gurus are so catchy.
Yeah.
Quickly, you mentioned Guinness Advisor. I always forget this part of it, because in terms of this being because like the story is, you saw Portnoy doing the pizza. I went off of that. You weren't really an Instagram person.
No.
You, as far as I'm aware, Guinness Advisor on Instagram, for anyone who is in the kind of Guinness.
Who's gone now, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think he's posted that in a long time.
Yeah.
But I do think he was posting on Instagram, obviously anonymously. But I don't think I think a lot of people probably just thought, he's just kind of copying that. But I don't think you had
no idea.
You had no idea.
No.
So it was very much an original idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the name, and then.
But I'm trying to piece it together a little, because I was trying to think it earlier, because at the start we were doing it exclusively in YouTube, and you were using your personal say Big Easy Man or whatever. When you created the new thing, had we been calling it Guinness Guru before that? Do you remember? Or was it when you moved to Instagram, then you called it Guinness Guru? Or I couldn't remember that sort of...
No, it was called Guinness Guru. Like, I think when we uploaded our first video, it was called Guinness Guru.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
okay, right, fair enough.
I don't think it was... I think we actually did settle on the name.
Okay.
Because we filmed a couple of bits. I'd say we might have filmed 5 or 6 videos. And then I was away in Portugal, and then I think we uploaded the first one or something. So I do think it was uploaded under that. But yeah, this was like back in the day where I'd literally post the YouTube thumbnail on my own thing, being like, video live now. And you'd wonder why you only got 40 views on it.
I know.
Like, it's the amount, and I still have so much to learn about social media and stuff, but the amount that I've learned about, like, because you might see like a little small business and they're trying to do social media and they're trying their best, but you just see mistakes that we would have made back then. You're like, oh my God, you can't try to get someone to, by showing them a picture, to try to get them to go off of one platform.
Yeah, exactly. And the views are really low at the start. But then once you started the Instagram, I think it kind of started to grow then.
I think it started to grow because of, and we're not,
relatively
we're both kind of complimenting each other. No, I think it started to grow because it was your idea then to start doing it town by town.
Yeah.
Instead of, we were just doing it individually. It was like random pubs in Dublin, and I hadn't a fucking clue. Like, I was probably drinking Guinness like 2 years at that stage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't a breeze, and that's why I used to always kind of cover my arse and say Guinness Guru my whole, because I didn't know what I was talking about. But yeah, first few videos, no traction at all, but we just said, we'll keep it up. And then, you were like, what about going to different towns? And then we I'm trying to think the first one we did.
Was it like Dunshaughlin or Dunboyne or like Maynooth or somewhere?
Maynooth was the last one before COVID, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to say maybe Dunshaughlin or maybe Navan, Trim, something like that. We did.
Yeah. So we had done the 12 pubs. And we were discussing back and forth.
Right,
and I remember some of the early videos. Like, there was a few that I thought were good. I remember like they were getting like 30 views. Like, I remember one time we posted a video, and the day later, I think it was like 29 views, and I was like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, I checked, it was 30 views. And I was like, fuck's sake.
And I actually remember you once texting me saying like, oh my God, this video's on 100 views.
Yeah.
It's like, brilliant.
That was good back then.
Like back then, you had to kill for 100 views, and now it's like you might get 10k, and you're like, that's a bad performance. It's just all relevant.
But I remember we had done the 10 pubs and
12 pubs.
12.
Yes,
did I say 10 pubs the first time?
We did that Christmas 2019.
Yeah.
And we had just been doing individual pubs and started the towns then after Christmas, so maybe that was a bit of a catalyst as to,
I think it was,
this could work as a grouping thing.
I felt that video, we were sort of telling a bit of a story, between different pubs. Start here, this is where I'm going next, that's what this one is like, this one was better than the last one. And then I just felt maybe we could bring that into the towns and maybe have a bit of competition between the pubs and people sharing, because the interesting
what made it good, like.
Because interestingly, I don't know if you've ever told this one, but the first one we ever posted, I think you've taken it down since, but it got a good few views. It got like 700 views. The one out in town nearby Ashburn.
Yeah, because people weren't happy.
Because people weren't happy.
No, I have written their initial criticisms.
All right. Yeah. But it's because people were sharing that because they were like, look at this fucking arse.
Yeah, literally, like, it was, and I remember like a couple of people saying it to me, not like, they were kind of saying what they had heard, and I'm going to go on to another bit of kind of criticism as well, but I just remember like I couldn't handle it at all because I'd never really put myself out there before. Now when I look at a video and someone says, oh, what a prick, or not that it happens too much, but it's water off a duck's back because you're used to it. But I remember at the start, so yeah, there was one pub, and I like, looking back, I would cringe. I go, geez, like I probably gave a pub like a 5 out of 10 or something, and it's literally like a town over, and I'm like, what was I thinking? It's very much like shitting on your own doorstep. Not that I'd be going there all the time or anything, but it was just a bit too close to home. And I even remember we went to Ratoath, which is very close to Ashburn, and I think we filmed, or did we film or something? And we just said, you know what, let's not post this, because that'd be crazy. But then there was another time where you sent me a thing. We'd probably only posted maybe 6-7 videos, and there was a pub in town, we won't name it. Fuck it was the Foggy Jew, and it was, again, looking back, it was a horrendous review. Like, I think I left it about 20 minutes before I drank it. The head was like that, and I was like, this is some, like it's not really an excuse, I was 26 at the time, it's not like I was 16. And I was like, it was some like heavy metal bar, some rocker place or something, like, and yeah, it was not good content. And you sent this to me saying, look, I'm just going to send this to you before like you go and see it yourself, blah, blah, blah. And it was basically just some lad, I don't know that he worked there, he had some affiliation with the place, and he put it up on his Facebook, and he was like, look at this absolute clown, and there was like 30 comments from all his friends, just completely slating me, and I remember reading them and my heart just sank, and all I could think was like, I'm never posting a video again. And I just couldn't take it at all. And I remember I text Rory Stories, very good, people probably know, very good friend of Culzy, good friend of mine through kind of the club again, but also because it's kind of like there's not that many people from your hometown that kind of do this. So Rory's always been a good man to kind of go to, and I remember saying to him, and he just literally said, fuck them, just fuck them. He was like, the amount of shit I get, and he was well into his kind of journey with it, so he was like, just don't mind, and like that's all I needed to hear. They're like, yeah, grand. So yeah, initially, geez, I think we're on fucking nearly is it nearly half an hour? Hardly. Wouldn't be surprised. I will keep going.
We have to edit it down.
Yeah, fuck, if it's an hour, it's an hour. Do you know what I mean? But we'll keep her there. So yeah, and then I just guess, like, what did you, from the start, what did you hope for it to become?
Again, I thought it was, look, repeating there myself here, but maybe the Barstool model then, where like, you know, you have multiple different channels, and the way I saw, and maybe I don't think this has ever happened, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I saw the money coming from it is that I thought this would be a platform that people would get in touch with us if someone's like launching a book or has a tour coming up, like I don't know, anyway, like Shane Lowry's releasing a book or whatever. And this is the way they promote it, and they give us, I don't know, $1,000.
I think I remember having a conversation with you, and I was like, there's no money. Like, I think, and we would never argue, but we would always just have these conversations of like how and I think I remember saying, I don't think there's any money exchange in those things, because when someone goes on, say, a podcast, the podcast are just happy to have a guest with a bit of a name, fill a week, and the celebrity is happy to promote their book. Same as when they go on radio or TV or anything like that. So, but there was so many different conversations, like, oh, we can do, so we were just gas. But yeah, like we were very much on the same page of what we hoped it to be. Like, I just remember seeing Barstool and go, holy shit, that's amazing. And I always said, and I still say it, but I don't think there is, like, it's kind of harder in this day and age. Like, even 2024 is a lot different than 2019 about what you get away with online and stuff. And I was adamant that I was going to build this Irish kind of Barstool, but I just don't think, like, someone like Dave Portnoy, if he started now, I don't know if he'd be able, and I would never say a bad word about Dave Portnoy, but I just don't think you could start now with the kind of carry on that they do, and I'd just be too kind of worried about like what people will be saying, whereas he just doesn't give a bollocks.
It doesn't care. It's also America. It's also a bigger market. Like, I was thinking, you know, maybe we could be, they could have like 20 channels under it and 20 different presenters of different things, like an expert in steak and burgers or whatever, and maybe go into the female side of things, and, you know, I don't know.
But also, like, back then, like, I feel like, say, between like 2012 and 2017 and 18, there was shit loads of money in YouTube views. Whereas it's just gone to the absolute dogs. Like, if I put up a video, and I'll say it because I've talked about money on the channel before. Like, I think if I got 100,000 views on a video, which isn't a lot for like a huge channel, but for my channel it's massive, like 100,000 views, it might be like 300 quid, which is obviously good, but like it's very rare you'd get 100,000 views. Do you know what I mean? So it's you'd want to be racking up like the millions. So it's actually kind of figured out that it's the only way to make money on YouTube was like through the sponsors. Then you basically said, let's go to a few different towns. We went to a few different towns, literally towns that were handy to go from Ashburn. You were driving, you were on the camera. I was the one drinking all the pints. It was great for me. We'd go into pubs. Every outlet in the pub just thought we were from Guinness. Didn't know what we were at.
When we first did the towns, were we going into the pub? Or were we, because there was a time where, and that was maybe initial criticism that people got, that you were standing outside a pub, and part of being in the pub is being in the atmosphere and experiencing, seeing what it's like inside, seeing how cold it is, all that sort of thing. So I don't know when we made that change.
I think we did. I think from when we went to the towns, it was inside the pubs. Okay. Because Yeah, I was standing outside the pubs, one, to copy Dave Portnoy,
Yeah.
because he did it outside, and two, also because I was too much of a pussy to actually do it in a pub. Like, we would literally, I don't think we can overstate enough how ridiculous it was at the start, where we'd go in, half times I'd be like, Culzy, will you go in? And if I went in, I'd just be like, hey, I'm filming a video about pubs around Dublin. Do you mind if I just film myself drinking, like, film outside? And they'd be like, most of them, like, whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
They wouldn't give a
They
bollocks.
wouldn't
Like,
care.
and then started to have the balls to actually, it's probably when we started going to the towns, I think I must have just had a conversation with myself, like, come on, like, grow a fucking pair of balls here.
I remember you saying, I think you felt that because it was you on camera, that you felt you should be the one to ask the question.
Yeah, because I just wanted to be like, right. And it was probably because there was a bit of like bad feedback or a bit of criticism, that I just wanted to be like, right, I want to be the one to go in and say, how are you? I'm going to review the Guinness. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And 99% of the time they said yes. And then at least if I didn't say it was great, it wasn't snaky or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? And it was going grand. And then unfortunately, the COVID came in. Like, we were having a great old time. And I even remember Minute was the last one we did, and we were both kind of hemming and hawing.
That's right. Whether we should do it or not.
You were like, oh, we were both worried about our parents and exposing them and all this. And that would have been, whatever, March. Probably like 10th of March, I think we filmed it. And then like 13th, the whole world went to shy.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's where the kind of next chapter began, because it was the sort of doing the videos, doing the Zoom or whatever videos, and some of them I look back and think they're actually not bad. Like, so you were in your gaff, I was in my gaff.
Yeah.
We'd buy kind of random drinks. Like, I had never even tried a can of Smittix at this stage. I hadn't tried anything, so it was great.
There's a lot of weird ones, milk stouts and all these sorts of
stouts, and I'd literally just go down to O'Brien's, grab like 10 different things, and I'd tell you what I got, and you'd try get the same, and we just go on the camera. And like, the main thing is that was like the highlight of my day, because I was just in this room. I was literally even with my mum. Like, it was great, but like, we were just about starting to get a few views in the videos.
Yeah.
Like, some of them were maybe creeping up towards like 500, 1,000 views. And like, it was fun, like, and it was such like, oh my god. So I think there was about maybe 300 or 400 subscribers, and I think another thing to note was that I never forget, it took like 100 days to get us the first 100 subscribers.
Right.
So that's how dead it was at the start. But do you remember what got the channel a bit of a kick at the start of COVID?
What was it? Give yourself a fade.
Me cutting me fucking hair. Would you have another one?
Sure,
why not?
Yeah. And one thing on that there, again, to give you a compliment, is that I was a little bit like, here, let's just hold off, see, wait till how things pan out with COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
But you were a real driving force to say, no, let's keep doing stuff. Let's try different things. Let's do the beer reviews and all that sort of thing. And
because probably thought COVID would be like 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do the shave your head thing.
Well, that I can totally understand you thinking, why the hell is that going on the channel? Like, I can completely understand that. It's absolutely, the channel was strictly, even if I put that on the channel now,
yeah,
I'd be like, what the fuck? It was completely random. I saw a lot of people were cutting their hair online, and I did it myself, absolutely butchered myself, and it got like 300,000 views or something.
Yeah.
And the highest viewed video, I don't know if we even had a video over 1,000. So like 800-900 for us was like unbelievable at that time, and it just absolutely exploded. And it was on fucking featuring the James Corden show and all this mad stuff.
But what that got us is, because a lot of people know to make money off YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of
4,000
views.
watch hours.
In
In 12 months.
And I think we might have had the watch hours, but we didn't have the subscribers. I could be wrong there or something, but anyway, it got us to the 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I think we picked up like 300 or 400 subscribers from that, so
I think there
boosted.
could have been like 1,000 or something. Like,
Really, yeah.
I think it honestly went from like 300 to maybe 1,200 in like a week.
Really, so it was like it was a good decision from that point of view.
Yeah.
To get the subscribers.
It's kind of like that. Like people say, you know, you don't really see the whole story with certain things. Like you just do whatever you got to do. It's not like I knew this at the time, but when you look back, it's like do whatever you got to do to fucking, because no one's gonna remember that video.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know?
And one thing from that, I actually when I look back now, I'm actually quite proud of the quality, the way we did it. So the way we would do it is we would both have a camera set up in our houses, then we'd be on Zoom to each other with earphones, and would be mic'd up through the camera, so the sound of the Zoom would come through our headphones, so it wouldn't distort the camera. And then you would join them together and try and sync them together, like so.
And the edit was easy because like you had the sound from the thing, but yeah, because we could have easily just done it on our laptops. I remember doing it maybe once and going, "This is shite looking."
Yeah.
And I was always a bit of a stickler for like video quality and sound quality and stuff. And because we both had a good camera, we both had a good mic. I was like, why wouldn't we just? It's not like we're in any rush. We're literally sitting around all day.
Exactly.
So yeah, and then I suppose we probably did that for like, I'm trying to think now, time wise. Probably did that for, it probably felt like longer, but it was probably only a couple of months that we were doing those types of videos.
Yeah.
Because and then I'm just trying to get to where we had the conversation where you basically said, sure, I'll leave you at it kind of thing. I think we had changed it to
Guru
on the
Life.
coaster, Guru Life.
Yeah.
I'd say absolutely no one watching remembers that. It was basically, I think we were desperate. We knew we couldn't go to pubs. We had set up another channel called Challenge Guru.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
you challenged me to like do this hurling trick, which I got.
I saw the hurl out there in the hallway.
Is that your hurl?
I think so.
Well, I won't be using it, so you can have it. But actually, can't be a good puck around.
No, you can keep it.
That's gas. And like that channel literally, there was one video, so it was a bit like, we just, and I'm still like that to this day, just mad to just keep trying different things, and then luckily like a couple of things have actually worked.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact if things hadn't worked, I'd still just be doing my normal painting job, fucking trying, because I'm such a throw shit at the wall and see what sticks kind of person. And then we must have changed the main channel to Guru Life, and it was just a bit of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and the funny, because I was in favour of changing it, but it was funny. I was chatting to my girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to change the Guinness Guru," and she was like, "The Guinness Guru is the best thing you have." The name, like, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And it's like, just it's your brand, like, in a way,
right.
which was interesting. But again, I was thinking like we need to move away from the Guinness side of things.
Yeah, because we were up in the basketball court doing like
That's
one-on-one
right,
basketball, all this sort of. We're just thinking, what can we do during COVID? Like, we can't go to the pubs. And it was like, do we set up another channel? And I still have these thoughts of when I was going from Guinness Guru to there, I was like, keep this, go to a new channel, but all the subscribers are here, and it's hard to get numbers on a new channel. And we changed it to Guru Life. I think we only did maybe one video. We did a couple. I remember going into Mary's bar on Wicklow Street in town.
Okay.
It was the first time
They were serving points from a hatch or whatever.
From a hatch. I hadn't had a pint in. This was probably only like 2 or 3 months. I think the first lockdown was only about 2 or 3 months, wasn't it? It wasn't
wasn't that long.
And did the kind of review. It was like, oh, first Guinness, blah, blah, blah. I was going off to like Hout and my GoPro, and I was like hiking and doing, and it was just, there was no, the brand was just all over the shop. And then I remember, I think it was actually this desk when I was living in a different apartment in Ashburn, and we just had a call, and I feel like I was trying to, you obviously give your reasons in a sec. I think the main issue was I was much more free than you. I think you might have been working from home. I was doing dick all. Or I think I was back painting. It was probably like late summer 2020. Mm-hmm. I think I was back painting, but like in the evenings and the weekends, I was just mad to... I just didn't have as much probably job responsibility as you. You were training in the evenings and stuff. I wasn't playing any sport. I was just kind of going gym and stuff. So I was just much more free, and I was kind of always like, do you want to film on this day? Do you want to film on that day? And I don't ever remember being like, what the fuck? But I just remember like you just didn't have as much time.
That was it. So COVID, believe it or not, I had started kind of a new job 3 weeks before COVID, and it was a conference, and then COVID hit. So that was it. That was it. Toasted, right? So I
were working on this conference that was going to be like in October.
Exactly.
And then boom,
COVID hit. So I was unemployed. That was all on pause or whatever. So I was effectively unemployed until maybe June, July time. I think it was May or June or something like that. Then I got a job. So I was working, and then football and hurling started coming back, and I was trying to play both, and that was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I might have a match at the weekend, and I was just fairly clogged up. And in fairness, you always said to me, as Grant, if you'd say, can you do this day, I'd say no. And you're like, Grant, just tell me when you can. Tell me when you can film. If it's in a week, if it's in 2, just let me know. We'll work around it. So I don't like, I never felt pressure in that regards. But like, you know, you're in a relationship and stuff. If you're training 4 nights a week, and then, you know, a match the weekend, and then another night away filming or whatever, and even doing other bits like chatting to you about different things, or I don't know, we'll be doing the various podcasts that or the Inside Guru, or all these different things.
Jeez, I skipped over that.
Just skipped that one
there.
Yeah, that was during COVID. We tried, or was it? We tried a podcast.
Did I write that and delete it or something? Yeah, no, it was called Inside Guru because I couldn't remember the name of it, and it was literally just us kind of. It probably even had it down in the business section. It was us just kind of, it was like week to week, we're going to update the fans on what's happened this week with the Guinness Guru and Guru Life. And like, it was about kind of, I always just thought it would be cool to be able to listen back if we got big.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't really expecting it to really monetize that podcast.
But it was part of our philosophy, and your philosophy now, which you've brought forward, of transparency with the audience. And like now you tell the audience your thoughts, and that's actually originally how obviously I came across you, because you were discussing, and you know, you would talk about what you earn from YouTube and all that sort of stuff, or different things that are working, and give the audience updates. And part of it was that's what I would like as well, that, you know, you talk about things. You don't just, we say, not that we're producing any particular fancy show or anything, but you produce a video and you put it out, maybe you talk about stuff behind it or whatever, or the experiences, you know. So that was one of the reasons.
And again, like, I think we were doing it during COVID, like, enjoyed it, because we just shot it on for an hour. I think we did an episode about you, an episode about me, and then I think we were doing it up until you stepped away, and I think we did a final episode. And we probably explained it all in that. To be fair,
you're right, actually. Yeah,
that's only come back to me now.
Yeah, I forgot that as well. Yeah,
it's only 4 years ago. To be fair, like, it's kind of a long time, and it isn't.
Yeah.
And when did you then? Because I'd like to think I wasn't like, all right, well, I'll just go by myself. Well, maybe I was. I don't know. But when do you remember? Do you remember having in your head, like, I think it's best if I just kind of step away?
Yeah, so there's probably a couple of reasons, and I mentioned a few of them. So I had a new job. Football and hurling was a priority for me. I wasn't going to not play football and hurling.
Culzy, great, very good football and hurling career as well. So
don't know about that. The other reason was that I didn't want to hold you back, because I felt you were enthusiastic. You still do have a great drive to you. You wanted to do things, and I felt bad saying no. I felt bad saying, sorry there, I can't.
Because it was kind of like I wouldn't really film stuff by myself.
Yeah,
I'd film stuff in the house by myself, but I didn't really have the thought of, okay, well, it wasn't like I said, all right, well, fuck you, you're not free, I'm gonna go do this video myself.
Yeah.
it was kind of like it's Darren and Culzy.
Exactly.
That is the Guinness Guru, even though it was me on screen, but it was very much a duo. Like
Yeah, and the last thing was that I probably foresaw that the channel could make money in the future, but I felt that, so we discussed this as well, that the plan would be for you to kind of go full time, and then like this is how funny it was that we would discuss these in details, but good discussions to have. That you would go full time, and that maybe I would be, still part time for a while, and then eventually. But so I did think the channel could get to a stage where it would support both of us, but I thought it would be another 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 6-7 years of absolute slogging, because we'd done a good bit of slogging like up at that, and I'd probably been involved for what was about a year and a bit or whatever at that stage.
it was probably just about a year.
So
and like there was no sign of any money.
There's no sign of any money, so I was like, this could go somewhere, but it's gonna take 5 years, and
I had the 5 years to give it. Outside of like my work, because the work I was doing, like I was a painter, I could just go 9 to 5, even think about it while I was there, because you're just painting walls. Whereas you just had more going on, and I think it was also because obviously I was the one on camera. That was kind of just like, if one of us can keep it up, it was obviously the one who was seen on camera kind of thing.
And it just wouldn't have been fair, I think, and it's probably, we discussed it before, like, and I would say it's a lesson if you're getting into anything with anyone, understand how committed both are, because, and we discussed it before, like I would say your priorities were, maybe relationships, guru,
gym,
work, gym, whatever. Whereas my priorities were probably relationships, career, sport, guru. And it just didn't marry up.
It is. But I think it's the sport like that, and even that's the GA life. It's extremely kind of
all encompassing or whatever.
Like if you're playing two sports, football and hurling, it's like you just weren't free, and I was never like, just don't go train or something. Right, we are literally at 47 minutes, so I try to keep it under the hour. I think, just to give a quick kind of synopsis of then what happened, I went off on myself, I think, and I would have still been chatting with you about certain stuff, about pretty much everything, because you were always a great man to bounce stuff off. I still bounce stuff off you. Changed it back to Guinness Guru, and then 20 would have a lot of absolute shite videos, and then summer 2021. This is nearly a year later. Like the north, it opened. You could go to the pubs up north inside. I went to Belfast, Armagh, Derry, and Enniskillen within 4 weeks of each other. And the YouTube channel finally again started to kind of, it was a bit of a rocket ship. And then it was like Galway, Cork, Dublin, these huge names. Obviously they were going to run out pretty quick. That's kind of where it went. And then you guys, the rest of the story up until now. But I suppose the big question is, like, from leaving, we left on very good terms. We've always been on good terms. Whenever we see each other, we chat. I roll ideas off you. Now, like 4 years later, do you have any sort of, it's not like it might be different if I was making millions off it. I'm lucky enough to be making my living off this. And I would say since making the change from kind of, I was making out an honest living doing Guinness Guru, and then since the kind of change last year, from kind of start of this year, bits of money are starting to come in from other things, and it's obviously good for me that it's under my own name, blah blah blah. But do you have any sort of, and we're being completely honest here because we always are, long-winded question, is there any sort of, geez, I should have a right to some of that money, I fucking had the idea to start this whole thing?
It's funny because I would have got, when you started kind of going full time, I would have got a few people saying that to me. They were like, just because that was your idea, what story? Or they were like, do you get royalties out of that or whatever?
Fair question.
And Well, the answer is no. We actually signed the contract at the end of it for me to sign everything over to you. Just again, I think only fair just to make sure. I think you gave me €100 or something like that. Just
to be clear, it wasn't like I was like, sign this, that you're never fucking getting anything.
No, it was
again.
me. I think it was me that wrote the thing again.
Yeah.
But look,
you were just so sound. You were like, look, you're the one, blah 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 blah. Let's just sign something. I think it was probably mutual. Let's just sign something just to
for
avoid
sure.
any bullshit.
But I think it would be like, you know, it's kind of understandable. You know, like say in a situation, say you're on a team and say you get benched. There's probably part of you, whether people admit it or not, that you'd be like, oh, I don't want the team to win because I've been benched. Or say you retire, and then the team goes and gets to the final. Whether people admit it or not, there's probably a 1 or 2% they're like, oh, you know, I wish they didn't win without me or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I've been trying for so many years or whatever it is, right? But I can honestly say, this is the genuine truth. There's not one part of me that was jealous or that wished you didn't succeed.
I thought you were going to say it. I was ready and I was like, that's going to be okay.
No, not one part, because I was part of the grind and I knew the work that it would take to get there, and I knew the work you were putting in to get there. And like my view was like, an idea is an idea. Like I could give you 10 ideas now. It's in the executions, in the drive, and it's in how much work you put into it. So not one part of me, and in fact the opposite. It was like a source of pride to see where the channel went to, and like I still say to people the odd time, like if they talk about the shtick or whatever, it'd be like, you know, I actually invented that term, just so they know the original. You know, so no, not one bit. Like, and delighted to see it, and you know, if there's any way I can help at all, I'm always here. You know,
that's amazing. We'll finish with two things. First of all, I want to know what you've been. Well, I kind of know, but let the people, the Culzy fans in the comments know what you've been up to since, and also then we're going to finish on. I don't think it's going to be hard, but we're going to pick our favourite memory from filming. But I think we'll have the same answer.
Idea, yeah.
So what have you been up to, Culzy?
So I work in the sports industry. So I am a commercial manager for the Gaelic Players Association and the GA, kind of a joint role there. Mainly the Gaelic Players Association. I don't know about that. So bringing on sponsorships, managing current sponsors. So people would know the PwC All Stars. They would be one to look after, having more protein milk, Optimum Nutrition, UPMC are a healthcare partner. Insomnia Coffee. If you're in Insomnia and you see the GAA people on the screens behind on the menus, they'd be brought them on there. They're because of me, yeah, exactly. So myself and a colleague of mine, Orla, we would look after all those partnerships. So work in the GA, work with the GPA.
Bit of schmoozing.
Brilliant, love it. Great job.
Yeah.
Happy
Class. The 5-year anniversary of the channel will be in kind of August, September.
Oh, brilliant.
We'll get you back and we'll do a Q&A. But I think let's finish up with, I mean, when you look back, we only actually probably filmed like maybe 20 single pubs and maybe 6 or 7 towns. So it's not like there's a million things to pick from, but I think it's pretty obvious what was the funniest memory we ever had. The Hatchet Inn. And I still don't know where to say it is between this town and that town, Waynestown and Dunshaughlin or whatever. And
near Batterstown.
I said I'll play the clip. The clip's about 15 minutes long, so I'll play about a minute of it, but you've all probably seen it before if you're following long enough. But yeah, basically, do you want to start it off? Yeah, so
we have been doing this thing where we, like, I carry the camera in, like looking at the floor.
It was kind of one of these cameras that was like big enough, and you could kind of yoke on it, and we'd be like, let's kind of just keep it down here, and because the mic was kind of on it,
that's
so the mic would pick stuff up.
So it'd pick up you kind of asking the barman.
Yeah, you would just be like,
and then see what the reaction was, and then we cut it to when we were sitting down or whatever it was. But as soon as we got in, it was busy. It was like a Sunday, I think it was. It was busy enough, and there was a fella at the bar and he had a few points, a good character, and he was like, "What's this all about? What's this all about?"
So we're kind of up at the bar saying, "Do you mind?" And they knew who we were, which was rare at that time. I was like, "Do you mind if we just do a Guinness review?" And everyone in the bar was kind of, "Oh, what are you gonna say about the pint?" So there was a lot of commotion, and the red, as I remember him.
It was the red, and he kept saying, "I have soft hands on you," or whatever.
And the magic of it was you had the camera pointed right up at him.
That's right.
So we got all this on camera and like audio and everything. and he was just, you couldn't really see me that much. You could kind of see the side of me, and then it was right on him. And he was going, what's this about, huh? What would you know about Guinness? What the fuck? And he was like, look at you, fucking college boy, huh? Any soft hands in you. I wouldn't know nothing about Guinness or working or anything like that. And then one of the funniest bits is he then kind of like, after all this, and we're saying about Guinness Review and all, after all this, he kind of looks down the camera and he goes, what's that? you're just like, what? And I remember your voice, you're just like, it's a camera, it's for a video. I was probably like, oh, it's for RT or something. And he just kept fucking, and then we did the review over in the corner. It was so funny. And he came over and made the review. Yeah. It's like, you have some scam going here. But
that's right,
he had no badness in him, do you know what I mean?
No.
He wasn't taking the piss out of me. And he came over during this some scam, because I think they gave us a pint for free and he was fuming. He probably fucking never got a free pint. I don't know. And he's like, yeah, once we got the pint for free, he was kind of going, you have some scam you've got going on here. And thinking we just go in and get pints for free. And then I think the way it came, how did it come full circle in the end? Do you remember?
I do, yeah. We were outside. We were outside the bar.
Thinking that was the maddest 20 minutes of our lives.
Yeah, exactly. We were just chatting about it and he comes out, I don't know, was he out for a cigarette or something? He was like, lads, I'm going to invest in you. $5,000 now, I'll put it into you there now. And we were like, what are you talking about?
We couldn't believe it. Like, I've never seen him up a bigger 180 in my entire life. He thought I was the biggest gobshite of all time, and now obviously had a few pints, so God knows what is.
But we were delighted, like, because it was such good content, like a bit of crack and
genuinely, it's the best bit of content that's ever been on the channel. I don't think it'll ever be beaten.
I reckon, yeah.
Because you had the fucking camera going.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the beauty of having the cameraman and kind of the bit of unknownness about it, and it all just came together. And we didn't even, I don't even know how we ended up going there. Like, it wasn't even in a particular town or anything. We used to kind of do towns and then go to like a random place outside it as well or something.
I think it was kind of last minute we went there, was it? Or something?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. We were around like Summerhill and Moynalvey and all these different places or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But anyway, I think that's a good note to finish on. I think we're on an hour. I'm just gonna, if people want to watch an hour, then they'll watch the hour. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's a whole lot you can cut, especially because you're just taking out half the story. So that was very enjoyable, Culzy, and pleasure. I always appreciate your sort of support and kind words, because you could easily just be like, fucking wanker just went off, blah blah blah. But you're not like that. You never have that. You don't have that in you. And you're just a good skin, and thanks for helping me start this.
Yeah, and thanks for the one or two lads that always say we're
cool. They're not going to go away either. Culzy, legend. Oh, brilliant.
Lovely.
Hopefully it's all recorded.